I never did it back to back, but I had to because it was glitchy on the last one I just did. I don't like glitchy. I don't like a dog that's a moocher, but I got one. Yeah. Okay, so I want to know anybody out there, is this still glitchy? I'm in Arizona at 78 degrees, January 31st, a day before the full moon. I'll tell you, the full moon affects everyone. Now, the last episode I did that was glitchy was, by the way, I'm going to change this up. It ain't going to be the same story. But, see this kind of stuff? This stuff right here? This is my grandfather. Well, he was a barber. And that kind of guy. Who would you trust? Would you trust someone? No, I wouldn't even trust myself with one of those. But then they worked over to these, and everybody knows about these. You little kids out there, probably remember your dad or your grandparents said, "Hey, you're a man now, so you can shave." But they didn't put the razor in there, right? So you get to shave all that. And it made you feel like a big man, right? Hey, get away from those. My dog's getting close to sniffing those. All right, maybe he'll leave us for a while. By the way, anybody out there, is this glitchy? I gotta know. If it is, I'm gonna stop. Okay, so this is the new story on my grandfather, who was a barber. He was a barber and a jeweler. He was Sicilian. Yes, that is Italian. And there's other stories to go with that, but not right now. So the story I want to tell you about is when I was a younger, less experienced individual. And, okay, actually, if you go back to, see, I don't like repeating myself. So, bullets, the one I did on bullets. Bullets in the wrong hands. That one. If you go to that one, that'll be the one where bro threw a bunch of 22 bullets from grandpa's drawer into a 65-gallon drum that was burning with fire. And that's how that story goes. But I'm not going to go back there. If you want another story, check out Bullets in the Wrong Hands. You have to go back a ways. But part of that is part of this story that I yeah. So I'm a young individual watching my grandfather cut people's hair. I tried to find the the kind that goes brr, 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 like if you went to the army in the 70s or 60s, to where you got a shorter haircut. So that's what I'm saying. Hey, none, 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 none. I don't think I remember you, none. Hello, welcome. Is this glitchy? Got to tell me. The last one I just did about 10 minutes ago was glitchy. I don't want to do this anymore if it's glitchy. See, I get this interference with the internet, and I didn't know about that. So I'm standing there watching all these people with more experience, and I didn't say old, I just said more experience, because that's all it is. There's no old or young. It's more experience or less experience. When you realize this in life, you'll go farther, okay? That's all I'm saying. So I'm standing there watching Grandpa take this kid that's about 17, 18 years old, 17 or 18 years of experience, and he comes into the office. Now Grandpa didn't have like a bunch of seats. He had one you could sit in, but there was like three guys sitting waiting to get next. They were next, and this guy comes in out of nowhere past me, and he says, "I need a haircut." And they all look at him. He has hair not as long as mine, probably up to about the ear, but I'm talking about like 1960, 1963, and that was long hair. If you had hair past your earlobe, and so he said, "I want a haircut," and everybody that was next said, "Oh no, you can go forward." So here this guy is sitting in my grandfather's chair, and the guy specific. I'm standing in the doorway, and the guy says specifically, "I just want that much off." That means that much off. So he had this much on his earlobe, and he said he wants this much off. Hey, one more. That's it. Come here. That's it. I love this dog, but he keeps wanting goodies. Hey, LMC, hello, and could you anybody out there tell me if I'm glitchy? I just did one like 10 minutes ago, and everybody says I was glitchy. That was the thumbnail. I'm sorry I was glitchy. Can someone tell me if I'm okay now? So I'm in the doorway, watching this kid, older, more experienced than I was, sitting down in my grandpa's chair, and he says, "I just want that much off." And my grandfather says, "Oh yeah, no problem." He gets out these, and I went back to look where these shavers are. They're not glitchy. God bless you. Thank you so much. Man, the last one was glitchy, but I had a good story. It was on all of this stuff. Grandfather left me. Hey, one more. One more. That's it. I keep saying that, but he keeps coming back. I'm not glitchy. I love your videos. Hey, 4K God. I love you loving my videos. But my grandfather says, when the guy says, "I just want that much off," my grandfather says, "No problem." So he has this, I don't have it, but you know those things, you know, like stripes. Remember that? Everybody had their hair. So that's what my grandfather did to this guy. He just went, but he left about that. He left this much on the top of his head. The guy had like this much hair under his earlobe. And the guy was very upset. And he said, "I'm never coming back here again." And my grandfather said, "That's okay. Give me my money." See, my grandfather was Sicilian. And he did a job for this guy. Sorry. It was not the job that he wanted, but he got a job done. The job was done. And now my grandfather wanted the money. And the guy says, "Okay," and he pays my grandfather the money. And when he leaves, all the other guys that are sitting waiting for their next haircut are laughing and busting up laughing. And I'm standing in the doorway, and I'm thinking, as a child, I'm saying, "Grandpa, the guy wanted this much off the top of his head. Why did you give him that much on top of his head?" My grandfather said, "That's the way it should be done." I said, "Grandpa, how can you make any money?" Well, he was a jeweler. I think it was his second job or something. I don't know. But he didn't care. And that's the point I want to say real fast. I'm going into 9 minutes. I want to say it in 8 minutes, but I can't. I got to go 1 second longer. Maybe 2 minutes. I can't find it, but I will bring it. It's one of these doggone things that zips through your hair, and that's what. And this is the one. When I find it, I'll show you. That was cutting my hair, and it was crummy. It pulled my hair. It was pulling more of my hair out than it was cutting. And that was a wildcat over there. Yeah, I gotta love ferals here. So I told Dad. I said I was 12, 13. I was 12 years old. 12 years of experience. I told my dad, I said, I don't want Grandpa cutting my hair anymore. He says, what? What do you? Because Grandpa was living with us in Millstone, New Jersey. This is a big time back then. That would be another story. But I'm saying, I don't want Grandpa cutting my hair anymore. He says, son, I said, Dad, I saved up my allowance, and I don't want Grandpa cutting my hair anymore. I want to go to another barber. He says, son, you are now a man. Sorry. But he said, because he said, I was standing up for myself in that way. And, well, that's when I got my gold ring, too, my pinky ring that I told you about on, what episode was that? Yeah, when I was a man. Yeah, Florida. I lost it. That's another story. That was the one, yeah, I was fishing in Florida and I lost my ring. But this is when he said I was a man, both times. So I said, I can't tell Grandpa. He says, don't worry about it. I'll tell Grandpa that you don't want your haircut done by him anymore. So what did I do? I go and get a haircut. The guy was worse than I'm sorry. He was worse than my grandfather. All right, one more. One more. Come here. Over there. Over here. One more. Yeah, right. So anyway, it was back in 1967. That was when Star Trek was out, and he gave me a Spock haircut. Look at Spock when he had that haircut. That's what I got. I'm sorry. Anybody that is Star Trek fans, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, all you guys out there, I gotta let it go. I went 12 minutes this time. I try to stay within 8. Give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs down. I don't care, I am concerned. And if you join Uncle Martin, subscribe to me, I will subscribe to you. Other than that, that's all the stories I got for you today. Be good, be well, God victory. I would do this.